All right, I'm live. Hello, I'm Dana. This is a first time live on YouTube. I've done plenty of Facebook and I've done Facebook Live and sent them to YouTube. I would also like to say hello to Luna Ash 9D and all the subscribers over there, which I am one of. And I actually have gotten help from over there, sending love and healing as I've done with others on that same site and other sites here. Um, Pretty much just give a little quick backstory. Um, Went through a whole reawakening process that's got to a whole point where life really makes more sense and becomes beautiful. Um, of course, I'm not going to go all deep back into things, but pretty much, going through life, very imaginative kid, always believed in stuff nobody else believed in. We've had a lot of things that's happened within our family, that be like considered psychic type of stuff. But anyways, at a certain point, you get to, okay, this is reality. Society sets up these rules. You go, this is it, and you shut that part of yourself down. Then through life, I kept like, it was almost like a native tribal part of me want me to get out into the woods to have these spiritual experiences, which led me down the road of hallucinogenics, mushrooms, different things, trying to find God, find spirit, what is above and beyond this, because there is something going on that I'm not finding through church, religion, anything. I don't know. I got to a point, I quit drinking like 14 years ago. I moved out into the country and lived in the mountains of West Virginia for like 12 years. Originally from Columbus, Ohio, lived in Michigan for a good chunk of my life, where I'm back at now. Man, I was doing all right. I was canning my own vegetables. I was cutting my own wood for heat. I was not on the internet, but I did become a TV junkie. I was doing a lot of stuff outside, granted, and I was in nature a lot, and I was making that connection, which was really good. And I didn't realize this was part of my awakening, because when I knew that I was going through my actual spiritual awakening, it was a few years back. But this was a process that had been going on for a while. And by the way, I consider it a reawakening, because when I was young, I was tested over and over. I mean, my face could be right next to the word indigo in a dictionary. I mean, that's how much I was tested. They say ADHD. Then when I got older, it was mood disorder, got put on a bunch of drugs. That's part of the story too, why I am back in Michigan. I decided to move to Michigan because they had me on 14 pills a day, medical cannabis, and I come off of all the stuff because of that. But here is the thing. While I was in West Virginia and I was making this life, I was recording a lot of stuff on DVR. And when I was in the house, I was watching a lot of that stuff. I had a setup way that I got stuff from the store. I was eating like a whole thing of brownies, in 24 hours, and just eating real shitty, even though I was trying to grow organic foods and stuff. And I kept saying I wanted to lose weight. I kept saying I wanted to lose weight. Well, I wasn't making any kind of progression. I had nightmares about being right here in Detroit. And actually, some of them was almost like Project Bluebeam shit, it's lasers coming from, which I don't think is actually going to happen. It's just my brain trying to figure out stuff. But anyways, what I seen was on this freeway that's down the road from the house. But what I didn't realize at the time when I was having these nightmares, I was like, man, I'll never go back to Detroit. Well, I decided to move to Michigan, become a cannabis patient. But I was trying to get out in the boonies. Man, it didn't work. My Section 8 housing, I almost lost my Section 8 housing. I ended up in Detroit. It was not good. Every fear I could think of, and I had no fear before this, just came to me, and I ended up with cockroaches, mice, bed bugs. I went through everything. I've got a bathtub that I'm still washing laundry in. I just finally got the stove, got a dryer down there, still got to get a washing machine, but I'm on disability and I have to bend over this tub doing laundry. When I first came in here, I didn't have a washing machine, didn't have a stove. I was putting peanut butter on bread with the credit card. I started starving and I was losing weight and I wasn't eating. But here's the funny thing. When I was in West Virginia, I kept trying P90X, all this shit. And I'm like, I can't lose the weight, but I kept eating crappy. So what I'm telling you is this. This is the wild thing. When you realize you control your whole reality, and you have been the whole time, you're manifesting physically and in the etheric realm. You are literally having dreams and doing stuff and setting up things within your life and not realizing it. Them dreams of Detroit, that was me manifesting myself into a situation where I had to face every fear and challenge that I could to become Zen, to be able to do all this stuff, and to be able to get to that point in enlightenment where I go, none of this is fearful, and none of this is anything out to get me. This is all a process. And from this process, I'm learning shitloads of stuff that you could not get from a book, period. And in that process, you start letting go. The ego starts to take a step back, and you start tuning into your higher self, to spirit, to God, however you want to legitimize this in your head. But it's all the same thing. It's that energy, and from which you come from, the fractal freaking conscious energy that is everything. And when you tune into that, you don't start steering the wrong direction as much. And when you do go through things, you don't look at it as, oh, damn, this is, no. You go, what is this? And instead of flipping out, you go, ah, I just clicked something in here, man. Something I thought I had taken care of, but I didn't. And now that I'm facing it, I can take care of it. So when you let go and you start realizing that, everything becomes beautiful. And then you start seeing stuff you'd never seen. Instead of going, man, I don't have much food and stuff. Instead, you go, what the hell? And you man, I've done shit. And somebody's like, oh, well, that's a good thing to put in your beans, because it will, what was it? Ginger, I think it was. Cuts down the gas. I just figured it's healthy. I'll put it in there. Diatomaceous earth, buy it from our plants. Man, I wasn't feeling good eating crappy meat from these grocery stores. You see, I have all kind of challenges that I've went through, but I've learned from them all. The food, I couldn't get away to the store. To even take a cab, it would cost too much money and be a ridiculous bunch of crap to go to the store. But through the process, I said garden cart. Used to use those, doing like gardening and farming type of shit, living out in the country. I'll get me one of those. I can take that to a grocery store. We have other grocery stores. I just can't backpack to them because they're too far. But I could use a garden cart. So I posted my idea on Facebook. Well, I'll be damned. A friend in Australia turned around, not just gave the money, but purchased the thing online and had it mailed to my house. That's the kind of stuff that happens when you tune in and follow that divine path. That divine path that you were set to go on when you were here. We set up to do certain stuff when we come to this planet. Not everything that you do in your life is written down, but the main tasks are. Everything else is up to free will. But if you tune in, you still use your free will to experience everything, but now you're not veering off the path so much. And when you do, it's not a big deal, because, what used to be something very bad, challenging, is not a big deal to you. And what would life be without a challenge? Think of this. How would you know love if you never felt pain? If everything was love or everything was pain, you wouldn't know the difference of anything. That's why everything's about balance. You got to balance the etheric, the spiritual part of yourself with the physical, this 3D realm part of yourself. And the 3D realm is always what they'd call dualistic. It's just all about balance. The male and female, the yin and yang energies, the the negative and positive things. All of this stuff is just all about balance. Everything in the 3D realm has a flip side to it. And it's the same within your life. Just like with manifestation, it's not all here and here. A lot of it's in the physical, but a lot of it comes from here, because yes, you can control things within your physical reality from within your soul, and I say here and here because you got the link from your heart to this whole center in your brain. The endocrine system does a lot as far as your spiritual centers. But your heart actually gives more communication to your brain through chemical signals than your brain gives to your heart. That's why they say think with your heart. Literally, if you feel stuff that way, you will tune in that way. Your brain is more of a networking center, like on your computer. You know, it's here to send stuff in all these different directions. But the spirit talking to you literally comes through an energy field, and that's felt through your heart and comes back through and is interpreted through your mind. So your brain should never actually be your central thinking area anyways. It should be that gut heart feeling. But all that stuff comes to when you let go of the ego part of yourself and realize I don't have to know or control everything. And you don't. I went to the Akashic Record by accident at the age of 14, didn't even know what it was. When I got older, I did. And now that I know that, you don't have to store so much in your memory. Everything is out there. Every life that you've led, all that information is stored within your energy fields and can be tapped into. So you don't have to know and remember everything. Have fun with life. And that's what you start doing when you get to that point of enlightenment. That's why, you know, these yogis and Buddhists and stuff, you know, a lot of them are very brief with what they tell you, because you got to find a lot of this information and go through these processes yourself. And why are they always giggly and happy? Because nothing offends them. Hell, I just had somebody, man, got real goofy with me on Facebook. Oh, yeah, I put a goofy post and she thinks I'm a dork or something, you know. And I put this thing on there, said, "Shh, I'm Batman." So she puts a dancing douche running around. It's one of the people fights a lot of other people. Well, I ain't fighting with nobody. I don't accept that. I mean, you want to give me that negative energy, you know, and you feel it negative in you, that's fine. But I don't have to feel it negative back. You know, it's part of it. What do they call that? Anyways, I don't have to accept that energy as something negative and bad towards me. In actuality, it does make me laugh when people get that way. I don't feel bad that they're not where I'm at. I don't feel indifferent or any otherwise, but sometimes I do think it's funny that when people like wig out and think they're gonna really irritate me. It's like, you can't do that. I've been called Charles Manson and everything. As a matter of fact, I think the guy that did that, but I got a lesson from another guy on that one. And well, it stopped things. Yeah. You control your whole entire reality just by what you feel, tune into, and think. And it's what you feel and tune into that you end up thinking. So you got to watch it. It all connects. You know, you start thinking a bunch of bad stuff, even if you're joking around, you know, like saying, yeah, you're fat and laughing, or you're a dork, or, you know, and people say this stuff, you know, and they'll call themselves nerd and stuff, you know, which used to seem kind of funny to me. It's not, but you know, I don't look at it as bad neither. To each his own. We're all little parts of a perception of that fractal conscious energy. We're all connected. We're all part of the same thing. We're just different perceptions, you know. But for me, I know the importance of speaking and words, and how your mind is always recording. It's always recording constantly when you're asleep and everything. That's why subliminal tapes work. 21 days of that stuff, you're believing what's in there. And you can do it to yourself over and over and over. I've been doing it for years. I am love. I am in divine protection. Just one street over, I think somebody said there was like, of course they exaggerate sometimes. I think they said 100 gunshots. Hell, I don't know. I slept through it. And when I first moved here, that shit wigged me out, you know, even though I was born and raised in the city. But I'm in divine protection. I walk these streets. I've talked to a friend. He's like, no, dude, over in that neighborhood. I'm like, calm down, man. It's not that bad. I see the craziest looking people in the world. I actually walk on the other side of the street. They don't know what it is. It's like Jedi mind trick shit. They just feel that energy and they're like, oh, I don't know what that is. I'm going over there. It's love, man. That's what it is. You know, but you control it all. You don't just have the key. You are the key to your own reality. Double slit experiment shows everything is just a matter of perception. It only exists because it's perceived to exist. So what you perceive to exist in your reality is what you'll have in your reality. Take it from me. I've been through trials my whole entire life, man. I don't even want to get into it. People shot. I've had guns pointed at me. I had a gun pointed at me for flipping somebody off on the freeway, and it wasn't even the person that pointed the gun at me. And I told him if he wasn't going to use the gun to get the hell away from my yard. What kind of crazy. I was in my 20s. But, man, I'm not going to say I've been through the ringer or anything. There's people. I've seen a friend on Facebook that got on there and said they had, their day wasn't going too well. Didn't say they had a bad day. Damn roof was caving in on the hut they lived in Africa. That's a bad day over here in America. There's plenty of worse stuff. There's absolutely nothing to bitch about. Everything right now is as it should be. The universe, all of us, we're all headed in the directions that we chose to go in. Nobody needs to change around anything or run around trying to freak out about stuff. What you need to do is tune in to your spirit, your higher self, and remember what it is that made you happy. And I said made you happy because a lot of times that after you hit about teenage years, the whole societal thing starts, and all that neat shit you were thinking when you was a kid pretty much goes away. Think back to that stuff. Find what makes you happy. I don't care if it's coloring books or putting puzzles together or building birdhouses, whatever. Whatever makes you happy. Tune into that part of yourself. Go from all truth. Don't walk around any groups of people thinking I'm this way around this person, this way around that person. I went through a whole thing with the throat chakra, trying to balance shit before I realized I had to do it in here. I couldn't just and do all this stuff to get it fixed. It wasn't until somebody explained to me that even though I was very true and everybody's known me to be a very truthful person, at times I wasn't being truthful to myself. And I was actually harming myself and ended up doing what the hell is that? This meditation, and ended up like crying like a baby. Had to call my friend, ask her why it happened, blah, blah, blah. It's not being true to myself. But anyways, like I said, you hold the key. This is probably the longest damn video I've done, and I could not tell you how long. But like I said, it's the first one, live video on YouTube. That's my new, I guess you call these channels. Ooh. So just kind of wanted to introduce to who I am, because I'm like reaching out to different people in different areas, so you know who I am, what I've been through. And remember, man, just tune into your path in life. What makes you happy? As you change and you raise your vibration, it's going to happen to everybody around you who's susceptible and to it. I mean by that, who is willing to awaken, ready to awaken, headed down that path. They're all going to feel you. Trust me, it happens to me all the time. I'm very, very empathic. I can't even remember there's a word for it, but I put off and feel energy all the time. And my daughter, I thought one day was going to turn into like Firestarter or Carrie. She'd probably appreciate hearing that. No, she's a good person, but I'm telling you, the energy things, yeah. But just remember, you don't just hold the key, you are the key. Peace and love. Y'all have a wonderful day or evening, whatever it is in your little part of the world.